Hello, world, and welcome to the Arc Report. Today, we're going to be talking about a crazy story that, well, I don't find weird, but it begs the question of what is the difference between a police officer and a criminal? The decision you make in the next few seconds. That is what we're talking about today. We are talking about U.S. Marshals. See, this right here is a press release that I got from online, the U.S. Marshal Services, because apparently inmate Casey White escaped a correctional facility with the assistance of Vicky White. And the problem with this assistance that he got from Vicky White is that Vicky White is allegedly, well, not allegedly, according to U.S. Marshal Services, Vicky White is the assistant director of corrections. So wait. So you all can see who I'm talking about here. Let's do There we go. Pardon me. So before I get to a video, yes, there is a video. There's a news report that we will be looking at because the press release was released before the news report came out. And now the press release is stating that this happened in Birmingham, Alabama. The U.S. Marshal Services is offering up to $10,000 for information leading to the capture of an escaped inmate from Lauderdale County Jail and the location of missing and endangered correctional officer from Lauderdale County, Alabama on Friday, April 29th. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this press release right here was sent out on May the 1st. So at that time, the only information that they had was allegedly this inmate kidnapped the assistant director of corrections from the correctional facility, but I don't understand how the inmate got that close to the assistant director to get the her up out of there and him up out of there and disappear out in the wind somewhere. I don't know. But it goes on to say that Casey White, 38, was charged with 2 counts of capital murder in September 2020 in the brutal stabbing of 58-year-old Connie Ridgway. He was already serving time for a 2015 crime spree that involved home invasion, carjacking, and a police chase. White confessed about the murder and was awaiting trial at the Lauderdale County Jail when he disappeared. He stands 6 feet 9 inches, and weighs approximately 260 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you, this woman right here put her job in jeopardy, allegedly. She allegedly put her job in jeopardy to do what? Help a confessed murderer, convicted murderer, home invasion, carjacking, police chasing individual out of jail and back on the streets. This individual right here is, as you can see from this picture right here, she appears to be a woman. And this man was in jail charged with 2 counts of capital murder in September 2020 for the brutal stabbing of 58-year-old Connie Ridgway, which was a woman. So I don't understand what could have possessed you or what you could have saw in this individual right here out of all the men in that jail. All the men in that jail. This is the one you gravitated to. This is the one that you thought, I don't know what you thought. It says the U.S. Marshal Services has adopted the case of inmate Casey White and the disappearance of Assistant Director of Corrections Vicky White. The two Whites are not related. Casey White is believed to be a serious threat to the corrections officer and the public. I'm going to sit this right here for a moment, um, because I understand that they want to have the benefit of the doubt, that they want to give this woman the benefit of the doubt, but unfortunately, there is no benefit or no doubt that there is to had with this situation right here. This is point blank period, open close case of you did it. You assisted in his escape. He didn't force you to do anything, nothing like that. Because, like I said, this press release right here came out before other information was released about this case. And now we're going to go into what we like to call a video. And in this video, we are going to see all the crazy nonsense that went on that will help me, well, not help me to understand, because I already understand, already know, and get that yeah, she's a criminal now, just like her boo boo stank is too.
Manhunt. Federal authorities have joined the search for an Alabama murder suspect who vanished along with a female corrections officer. Tonight, there are new questions about whether that officer was involved in the escape.
Like I said, I don't understand how you can ask the question of whether or not the officer was involved in escape if you know what your protocols are, and if you know those protocols was broken, especially once the first protocol was broken. That should have told you right there that this wasn't just a normal escape. This wasn't a kidnapping escape. This was just a plain old inside job.
Elwin Lopez has the very latest.
Tonight, the nationwide manhunt in Alabama for an inmate accused of capital murder and a corrections officer. Lauderdale County Assistant Director of Corrections Vicky White and inmate Casey White, who were not related, vanished Friday. The sheriff says she told the jail around 9:30 that morning that she was escorting the inmate to court before going to see her doctor.
Now, you say you had to transfer an inmate to court. You also told the jail that you had to go to a doctor's appointment because you didn't feel good. So why would you transfer a prisoner to the courthouse knowing that you have to then leave and go to a doctor's appointment because you didn't feel well, instead of just assigning someone else to the task, because you are the assistant director? You are, wait, let me check. You are the assistant director of corrections, which means you have the clout to change that schedule, to pull you off that duty, to put somebody else on it. But we'll let them keep on BSing.
I can tell you that every employee in this office is shocked that she's missing and that this has happened.
I bet you all are. I bet you are.
Vicky White taking Casey White by herself in a patrol.
And I don't know. I'm not a police officer, haven't worked in law enforcement, haven't worked in corrections, don't know about transportation. I just know about what I see when I drive around my city, when I see them doing transports. Whenever I've been to a courthouse and seen an inmate being transported to a courthouse. I've worked in a hospital where I've seen inmates being transported to the hospital, and when they're not transported to the hospital in the ambulance, they're transported to a hospital in a van, not the police cruiser. Not the police cruiser. And I don't know from the video, from how I can see from this video right here, I don't know if this police cruiser even had the divider in it. I don't know.
Car breaking department policy, which requires 2 deputies. By late afternoon,
See, that ran right there. That's the van she should have been transporting them in. And like they said, the protocol is 2 deputies. It should have been 2 deputies in there in a van like that, and not in that little rink-a-dink car that she called herself transporting him in. That was basically the getaway car to get them from the jailhouse over to the getaway car, so at a different location.
both were missing. Her car found later that day in a parking lot at a nearby shopping center.
At this, and I'm gonna tell you like this: if they found that car in this shopping center right here, again, this deputy is not smart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to disrespect the deputy, the good deputies out there who do their job right out there in Alabama. Um, I mean, the assistant director of corrections is not smart. I don't understand how she even got the position because one, your plan was screwed from Jump Street. You don't realize that they have cameras in a mall parking lots. You don't realize that the moment that they found the police car in the shopping mall parking lot, that they were going to start looking at the cameras to try to track, going to start looking at the different traffic lights to try to track to see where your movements were. Just stupid.
And news tonight, the sheriff saying that day was also her last day at work, turning in retirement paperwork just 24 hours before.
What the Whoa, wow. Wow. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If she wasn't so stupid, if this plan was not done this stupidly, homegirl could have got away with it. But because you went about it in the way you went about it, you just messed everything up. You're retiring. You put in your retirement papers. You was ready to get that retirement money. That's out the window. For what? An inmate that was going to spend the rest of his life in jail for killing a woman like you? A woman who we don't know if he knew this woman because from the press release, it does not state whether or not he knew the woman that he murdered. But with it being a brutal stabbing, I would say it would be personal. But you allegedly you spent your whole career babysitting prisoners in jail to now spending the rest of your life with those same prisoners you babysitted in jail. No pension, no nothing. They get all that back. Everything they get back. And for what? He's not even worth it. He's not even worth it. And you want to know what it is? You must have some low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Look at this picture. I can see it from this picture right here that the reason why Vicky White helped this man right here is because, let's be honest, he quoted a girl on the low. He was at her lowest moment. She's broken. She doesn't love herself. She's unhappy. She needs love. She wants love. And he was always whispering them sweet nothings in her ear. At the right time, he was playing on her emotions. Why? Because he knew how to play her like a fiddle. Just look at her. He knew the right things to say to play her like a fiddle. And that is what he did. And he played.
Authorities now saying that there was no scheduled court appearance for that inmate and no doctor's appointment for Vicky.
And here's the thing. Because she was the assistant director of corrections, when she said what she said, they took it for her word. Why? Because she's the assistant director of corrections. She's the woman next to the man that's in charge of the whole thing that's going on right here. She said she was moving this individual for this reason. She was moving that individual for that reason. She said after she moved him that she wasn't going to be coming back and she got to go to a doctor's appointment. They ain't paying no mind because she knew that, that's what it was. Everybody was giving her that love, that attention, that affection, that, oh, we going to look the other way and not think nothing about it because, you probably had a good career. You probably was loved by everybody, and everybody. That's why they didn't expect that you would do something as nutty as this. Like, I
very well convinced that she assisted Casey White escape. Really, the question we have lingering is, did she do that willingly, or was she somehow coerced or forced?
see this gentleman right here. I don't know who this man is. His name card didn't pop up on the screen. From his statement right here, I'm gonna say bullshit. Why do I say this? That man didn't coerce her, force her, hold the gun to her head, or none of that. Because I'm gonna say this. One, where did he get the gun from? Remember, he had to leave a secured prison with the assistant director of corrections, which means he didn't have a weapon, or where did he get the gun from? The next part is the only way he got out of that prison was because the prison believed that he had an appointment with the courthouse that day, because that's what she told the prison. How did he convince the prison, coerce the prison, force the prison to fake that he had an appointment with the courthouse when he didn't have an appointment with the courthouse? There was no way for him to do it without help on the inside. And the biggest help of all is the assistant director of corrections. So he didn't put a gun to her head. He didn't force her. He didn't have a knife to her. He didn't do anything. But if you would have said he promised her some good, you know, make her feel good, make her feel happy about herself, then I would believe you when you said this was the reason why she did it. She did this. She threw her life away. She threw her career away. She threw her good name away because she was lonely and she needed some. She needed some love and she didn't have it, allegedly. If you say those words, I believe you. Anything outside of that is a bunch of BS. This right here is a bunch of BS. This man didn't do this plan alone. This plan was in conjunction with her plan. He wanted out. She provided the way for him to get out. She was retiring. She had the position. She had the clout. She made it happen all by herself. And this is why we're here now, because she didn't think this all the way through.
To help him?
The sheriff calling the officer an exemplary worker with nearly 17 years at the department.
You've worked in babysitting at a corrections facility, these prisoners, for 8 hours a day, or however many hours you got to be locked behind bars with them, only being able to go home, sleep, wash your behind, and come back the next day and do it all over again. You threw away all that time, money, status, retirement fund, everything. For what? 17 years? But for him, 17.
And saying that as part of her job, she frequently interacted with inmates. This all comes as a shock to the family of Connie Ridgway, the woman who Casey White confessed to killing in 2015.
I'm going to say this. I live in Newark, New Jersey. We've been having a lot of stories and a lot lately, past few years, rather, shit, past damn decade, of male and female in corrections officers having sex with inmates or inappropriate relationships with inmates and things of that nature. So I don't believe, and I find it hard to believe, that this right here is Vicky White's first time having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate. I think if they really did a thorough investigation, there will be a lot of inmates, both past and present, who can tell you of some things that they've known about or been involved in with allegedly Miss White. Because, like, as I've stated, I don't believe this is her first time doing this. Because this right here was done. She had too much confidence to pull this off. Because she actually pulled it off. It was pulled off. The problem was you didn't come back, and that was what happened. I don't know if you made it to Mexico or not, but it was pulled off until they finally realized something just wasn't right.
While serving 75 years for a crime spree.
Okay, I'm looking at this press release. Um, One, they need to up that 10,000 because there's two of them. One, it really needs to be upped even more because he's a convicted felon who's supposed to be in there for 75, got a 75-year sentence for capital murder. And this woman right here is a correctional officer. You know, the person who's supposed to protect and serve. You know, those individuals who, like, lady, do you not understand? You're making it hard for your people. Y'all already got it bad already. Y'all got the country turning against you, and you're not making it better because not only did you do something stupid, you released the worst kind of criminal back into the system. Not the system, but society. That's how aggravated you have gotten me, Miss Piggy. I'm sorry, didn't mean to call names, but I'm going to tell you this. He does not deserve to be free. That also deserved to be much higher because $10,000 is not enough. And at this point, they probably already made it halfway to Mexico or in Mexico.
How is that even possible for someone with his rap sheet to be able to get out that easily?
I'm so been trying not to use profanity in this video. I've been trying to be cool, just state the facts, my opinion, what I see, what is real, but I see that everyone involved in this is just slow, dumb, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You just sat here and said, my brother, not my brother, Mr. Individual. I'm sorry because I know it was your family member that passed away. My condolences to you for that family member that passed away. But let me explain something to you. He was not released. The correctional facility in Alabama itself is not responsible for his release. They didn't make a mistake and release him. It wasn't a clerical error. It wasn't a paperwork error. It was not. It was a human error, the highest degree, because this woman was the assistant director of corrections. That's how he got out. He got, well, he put his key in the right lock and it opened the door. That's how he got out of jail, Mr. Person. He wasn't let out by the correctional facility, not by a judge, not by the courts. They said he was going to spend basically the rest of his life behind those bars for what he did to your family member. It was this woman right here, you know, because all of you like to play God. It was this woman right here who wants to play God with your family member, who also wants to go above and beyond and say, what the judge had to say after the jury said that he was guilty and said he was going to spend all that time in jail. She let him out. There was no bail hearing, not bail, parole hearing. He wasn't up for parole. The parole board didn't let him out early. There was none of that. She did it. This woman right here, she did it. So don't blame the correctional facility. Blame this woman. In the same way all of you would be out there looking for Tyrone and Pookie, all of you out there need to be out there looking for this woman and this man right here. Every man, every woman, every child, every Democrat, every Republican, even if you don't vote. From the rich to the poor to everybody in between. Black, white, whatever you want to call yourself. Everyone in the United States of these Americas need to be on the lookout for these two individuals right here. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I've stated, this stupid woman right here, who lacks any kind of self-esteem, self-love, self-worth, allowed herself to be wooed and fall in love with a convicted killer. Not just any convicted killer, but a 2 counts of capital murder convicted killer. Allegedly, for the stabbing of 58-year-old Connie Ridgway. And with him on the streets, none of us are safe, especially you women.
And Lindsay, the U.S. Marshal Service has taken on the case, and they are now offering up to a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of Casey White. And authorities are urging anyone who spots the 6'9" inmate to contact law enforcement. Lindsay.
Elwyn, thank you.
As I stated, ladies and gentlemen, this man was not let out of jail, was not released out of jail by anyone, by any legal means was he released the correctional facility. This man was released illegally by, I'm going to say, his mistress, because this is what this story sounds like to me. It sounds like y'all was involved in a relationship because you like to mingle around with the inmates. He read you like a book. He knew how you get down. He played on it. He knew you was going to retire. He kicked you a game. Y'all was going to take that retirement money and do what? Disappear? Ma'am, I'm going to tell you, you could have got away with this completely if you would have separated yourself when it came to the transport. You could have set up the fake appointment at the courthouse. You could have did that. And after you set up the fake appointment at the courthouse, what you could have done was you could have then let someone else transport him. But then, yes, that would have caused a problem. Now that I'm thinking about it, because the more people you involve, the more likely you are to get caught. With this plan right here, I don't see how you even saw that there was going to be a positive outcome for you. There is only one outcome for you, and that is to turn yourself in. At this point, your community will believe basically whatever it is you tell them. You may lose your job. They may try to cover it up and just basically really throw it all on him. But people with a brain who really see what's going on here, you both are to blame for this stupid jailbreak that was done wrong. Because like I said, there was no way for you to get away with this. I mean, you must have been watching the show Prison Break a little bit too much but it's a show. It's not real. Yes, there are people who have escaped from jail or prisons and have gotten away with it for a long period of time. But this right here was just dumb. Everything you did was dumb. You're the assistant director of corrections. You were retiring. You were getting your retirement money. It was time for you to drive off into the sun. And out of all the ping to choose from, you chose the worst one out the bunch. You couldn't even get one who was up for parole, about to be on parole, on his way out the door, about to be released at the same time you're retiring. Like, you couldn't even pick one of those. You put this one? This one. Why? Because he said, "Oh, Vicky, you look pretty today. Oh, look at you with that uniform on. Go on, girl." Hmm. When they catch him and when they catch you, I hope they do to you same thing they do to him. Because you're not innocent. Yesterday, you were the assistant director of corrections. And because of one bad decision, you've now joined the other side. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Akish Aklord Mullins, and this is the Yak Report.